and a tribute to trailblazing women who played a pivotal role in New York history will be popping up all across the city.
And the Department of Cultural Affairs is announcing the latest round of monuments in the She Built New York City initiative, which honors these women with statues in each of the 5 boroughs. Commissioner Laurie Cumbo is joining us this morning with an open call to artists and designers. Listen up. If you want a shot at designing these monuments, listen up. We've got some information. Commissioner, thanks for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. This is our Women's Herstory Month.
Yes.
And we're so excited to bring good news to New York City, and I couldn't be happier than to deliver that today.
Yeah, one of the first ones to be approved was last summer, and that's the Shirley Chisholm one that's in Prospect Park, correct,
right.
in Brooklyn. And there's also like some sort of a welcome center as well. Talk about that.
I'm really excited. When I was a council member, we had the opportunity to put resources into Prospect Park to do a welcome center and to also realize the larger visions of celebrating the dynamic Shirley Chisholm in her hometown, right where she served in Prospect Park. And so we're excited to bring this monument forward as well as a welcome center. This is going to celebrate her role as being the first African-American woman to run and to win the seat for Congress in 1968, and then 1972 to run for presidency of the United States to go on to win the Democratic Party nomination. That was her goal, and it inspired so many women following that heroic, very heroic goal of hers.
Yeah.
Look at the timing of it all, too, with the movie out now, too,
Yeah,
about her life. It's amazing. Let's talk about what's happening in the Bronx. You'll be honoring a leader in the women's health movement there, Dr. Helen Rodriguez-Trias.
Yes.
Why was she selected for the Bronx?
She was the pediatric doctor and specialist at Lincoln Hospital.
Okay.
She was an early advocate, really strong advocate for HIV and AIDS prevention and care. What a phenomenal woman. She fought for reproductive rights right there in her hometown in the Bronx. And we wanted to celebrate. We wanted to celebrate women on so many different levels. There are over 150 monuments celebrating men and only 5 documenting women. So Mayor Eric Adams wanted to realize this vision of the city of New York, to have more women all across the city representing our incredible stories, our stories of triumph, and we wanted to make sure that we did that in all 5 boroughs. And so the Bronx is really home to so many dynamic women, and we wanted to make sure that her legacy was preserved in her hometown, and it's going to be right in Lincoln Hospital, where she was the pediatric doctor and specialist.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about Elizabeth Jennings Graham, because before Rosa Parks there was Ms. Graham, who fought for racial segregation. What about her that you can tell us about?
It's so phenomenal to hear these stories, because this is really what everyday New Yorkers should know. Almost 100 years before Rosa Parks, she was dynamic and bold and courageous. She was a teacher, and she was on her way to Sunday service, and she boarded a streetcar, and she was ordered to get off. And she refused. Similar to Rosa Parks, she was forced off of the streetcar, and she decided to use that opportunity to actually sue the streetcar company. And guess what? In 1850, she won. She won this incredible historic feat that inspired so many people. So there have been so many dynamic women all throughout New York City who have led to what we now know as the civil rights movement. This was something that was happening all across the country. But we want to lift up those stories of everyday women, a school teacher who fought for equality and to break down the issues of segregation that impacted so many.
Yeah, an unfamiliar name, so it's wonderful
That's right.
to lift up her
It's
history.
so incredible.
But there is a name we all know, and that's Billie Holiday.
Yes.
Familiar in the jazz scene, right, in Harlem in particular. But the monument's going up in Queens. So why across the river?
We are so excited. Many people may not know, but that Billie Holiday lived for some time in Queens, along with so many other jazz legends, such as Lena Horne, Count Basie, and many others. Queens is really the epicenter of so many of the great jazz legends, and we wanted to lift up the incredible Billie Holiday right in her neighborhood of Queens, where she lived for quite some time. And this is really exciting because, you know, Billie Holiday is such an extraordinary leader, not only vocally and musically, but also as a civil rights icon. She came out very early, right before the civil rights movement was really set on fire in terms of so many people participating in it. That song, Strange Fruit, Time magazine quoted this as being the song of the century.
Wow.
And it was so powerful because it talked about lynching all throughout this country, and she brought attention to this issue. She was one of the first early performers to perform at Carnegie Hall as an African-American woman. So she broke boundaries on so many levels, and it's so important for people to know of her fight, her struggle, and the legacy that she leaves for so many of us in terms of being that person, being that woman to break those extraordinary boundaries that held us back for so long.
And last but not least, let's head to Staten Island, where you'll be celebrating Katherine Walker.
Katherine Walker is such an incredible icon and leader as well. Many may not know of her story, but in 1890, her husband had passed away. They were the leaders of the Robbins Reef Lighthouse, and that lighthouse was what protected so much of the waterways and guided ships to safety. But after her husband passed, everyone was looking for a man to fill that role. And for 5 years, she fought to be the leader and to maintain that position of protecting our waterways and being in that lighthouse. And after 5 years, she actually won the opportunity to be the guardian of the lighthouse. She actually had to row her children 1 mile each way to school every day in order to maintain that position. I mean, women are dynamic, right?
We're almost out of time here. I want to talk about the open call, who's eligible, how they can submit.
We want to make sure, because these monuments are so phenomenal, we want to have everyday New Yorkers, we want to have the arts community participate in what these artists should do, is that they should go to our website, which is nyc.gov/culture. We want to hear from the arts community, and that's where they could submit slides of previous work that they've done, ideas that they may have for these different monuments. And we want everyone to participate. This is a New York story. We want to celebrate our women, and we want the creativity and vibrancy of New York City to be such an incredible part of that.
Love it.
That's wonderful. And thank you so much for helping us wrap up Women's History Month.
That's right. Women's History Month is so phenomenal.
Your knowledge is awesome. I love it.
Thank you.